We're good.
We're doing very well today.
Lazy Saturday.
Yeah.
Lazy rainy day. We're supposed to do a lot of painting, but since it's all is making it rain, we don't have to today.
That's good, I guess. Now you're with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So want to tell everyone your name and what you do in the band?
My name's Paul, and I do drums, percussion, and I'm pretty much the primary talent of the band.
So I'm Ryan, and I sing and play guitar and pretty much do everything that's meaningful with the group.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't actually originally from Toronto, so where are you from and how did you end up in Toronto?
Well, the band itself, right before Toronto, we were based outside of Edmonton.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, but he's from St. Albert, and I'm from Kelowna.
Oh, cool.
And how did we meet, Ryan? What's the story?
Well, I was in a band a few years back, and we ended up meeting up at a house party. First time we ran into Paul, we jammed acoustically a little bit, I think in the basement with a bunch of other people.
We didn't really like each other when we first
Yeah,
met.
Paul was a young little shithead, and I was a loser in a band I thought was cool. So, this was many years ago, but years later I needed a drummer for a project. I was getting sick of not being able to jam, and
I need to get out of fucking working too much.
you just got back from Europe, I think.
Yeah, well, just got back from Europe, and I just hitchhiked around, traveled as much as I could, bussed in Amsterdam and in France, and yeah, I got a lot of experience. The whole reason why I was there is I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, because all I've ever wanted to do was be in a band, and I thought that was kind of weird. So, because I didn't want to do anything else, so I went to Europe to see what else, what I wanted to do. And I ended up just being like, oh no, I still definitely only want to be in a band. So I came back, got a job, didn't have a band, and then Ryan asked to jam, and so we hung out, and the first night we chilled, we wrote a song.
Oh, what song did you write?
Till We Meet Again.
That's my favorite one.
That's your favorite one.
That was the first one we started on. Hilariously, me and my brother jammed in my old band, and me and him were jamming like I think a day before me and Paul hung out, and I kind of came up with that main riff, or like the first half of it, and then when me and Paul got together, the whole song just started coming together so fast off that one guitar riff. And yeah, we were like instant best friends, I think, pretty much the first day we hung out.
Very good
Went to
musical
the mall and
chemistry.
shit, and we could jam, like we've been playing together for years already. From
That's
day
good,
one.
it's important.
Yeah.
So why did you choose the band name Holiday Monday? So you think of your name, you're like, oh, it's a Victoria Day or something, it's National Holiday Monday, so.
Well, that's not actually where it came from. Well, kind of, but there was a band that my school band had covered years ago for like a school show, and the song was called Bank Holiday Monday from the song, and the name just kept echoing in my head, and we'd already been jamming for 3 months, hadn't come up with a name we liked yet, and it just kept echoing in my head, Holiday Monday, and I was like, texted Paul right there, I was like, what do you think of that for a band name, and Googled
Did you at least wait till
it.
you got out of the bathroom before you texted
Oh
me?
god, no.
Been there for a while?
Yeah.
It's too important to wait for.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what are some of your musical influences?
Well, I think me and Ryan both generally have a very similar, 90s punk influence. But, for me, I also strive from a lot of older bands, like I love Led Zeppelin, I love a lot of jazz, love a lot of metal too. I used to be like a really, really big metalhead. But Weezer, you love metal?
Yeah.
Excellent. That's awesome. And I kind of took a lot of my influence and put them all together for Holiday Monday, and it's kind of got like that 90s punk feel, but it still has a lot of my other drum influences in it too, so I think it makes the band kind of have a really nice spectrum of flavor on the drums.
I agree. And how long does it take you guys to make one song from start to finish when you first start thinking up a new song?
Depends on the song.
Yeah, it really depends on the song. Like, I felt like a lot of them don't even get finished until they're in the studio and get produced, and like Paul's got time to do a part a dozen times and really play with switching beats up, and I'll come up with extra guitar parts, or
and sometimes you just write it in an hour. We can write pretty much a whole basis of a song.
Yeah, like that. What was the fastest one that we did? Was it
It was either, I think, The Fall
Or Wasted.
or Wasted.
But Wasted got really cut down again in the studio. Like the first couple demos of that song are totally
Hilarious,
different
way
compared
slower.
to like literally a minute and a half longer than what
Oh.
the cut ended up being, just shy of 4 minutes, you know.
Mhm.
But I think it is better being shorter. Like it is better, like
Better being shorter, Ryan? Is that what you tell yourself?
the fills that we put in and switched it up sounded better than having the long dragged out sections in it.
But then, like, The Fall, we just were, like, depressed and upset that we haven't written anything, so we just sat down on our instruments, and that is just kind of what we played. It just kind of fell out of our musical asses. So,
Nice.
Yeah. As for, like, the musical influence from my side, I kind of grew up always hearing, like, kind of the pop rock radio stations that my parents would have on, and lots of stuff like U2, kind of bands like that, and my dad always liked Hendrix and
don't
Led
ever become
Zeppelin.
like Bono.
Oh God, no.
Okay,
So what's the hardest thing about being a two-piece band?
well, a huge problem.
Sharing all the women.
A huge problem before with having just a two-piece band is after every show we get people just being like, "Yeah, it was really good, except for like, you just need a bassist, you just need that third guy up there." So we do miss a lot of stage presence, having a just using Ryan's like switch pedal setup. But I don't know, it makes it really easy when you do a tour, or if you gotta live in the van. If we had a third person, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of things we did. So right now we're kind of happy about it.
It makes sense to be a two-piece.
So what are some advantages to being a two-piece band then?
You can have a really, like, if you're good with working with the small number of people, like a two-piece, we can have a really big, full show on a small stage, because we're used to making big stages, really full shows with a two-piece band. So when we're on a really small stage, it's really, really easy to make it sound good, and for us to have room to rock out.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, what do you think, Ryan?
I think the band could ultimately benefit from having a bass player, even possibly a guitar player, but I feel like we honestly haven't found
The right
guy yet. Like the pedal's still my first choice because we just have a tighter image with the kind of energy that me and Paul have on stage. It's difficult to find people to match that and play at the same caliber that we can as well.
Well,
If you're looking for that third player,
it's tough. It's tough to find another guy. Ryan's been non-stop on Tinder just looking for guys.
you're supposed to be looking for girls on that.
So, so we'll see once we find the right guy.
Cool.
Yeah, if we can actually have a full band or not. But for now, this is what we want to do.
Nice. So what are some of your favorite experiences so far as a band?
Well, we like our experience is just watching our band do well. I think our first show we sold 130 tickets, and on being our first show and being like a no-name band,
It was pretty cool to have 100 of our fans in there already. That was
cool.
even people singing along a little bit in the front to some of our more popular songs that we've gotten out there a little more back in Edmonton.
So what's music scene like in Edmonton?
it's
Small.
different. Mostly metal.
Yeah,
Nice.
mostly metal. It's our kind of commercial rock. There's not a lot there for it.
So you get like all the small country towns that they'll play a lot of country and alternative rock, but that's just kind of like small venues all over Alberta, and then you get to southern Alberta, it's all country. So for us being a harder alternative rock punk band, we didn't really have a whole lot of places that we fit in there. So this place, being in Toronto, it definitely gives us a lot more slots to fill, because people are definitely looking for our genre a little bit more.
Yeah.
Where in Edmonton, we were just a very tight niche of people. There weren't a lot of bands that we could really even fit well with to play with, because it was usually metal. So
I think it's better to be here.
for music, yeah.
Yeah, I think because we moved out here and already had interest with a good management team that wanted to sign us inside of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's impressive.
if that's how fast you go from living in a van to working with a record company coming out to Toronto, then definitely if you're a band that has commercial appeal and can play, then come here or Vancouver. I hear it's great too.
There's actually a market out here for music. There is in
Well,
Edmonton.
speaking of commercial like to look here, Ryan, you have an amazing voice, and unfortunately a lot of artists these days use auto-tune, so what are your feelings about artists who use auto-tune and don't really let their natural voice come out?
I don't have any respect for you if you use auto-tune on stage.
Listen to him.
There's no excuse for that. I would rather, if you were sick even, I would rather you just try your best than like have to use a machine to, like the Stereos is terrible for that. I couldn't believe watching them on Disband when they first came up, and the guy, he's using auto-tune for the live show. When like they show a scene of him playing it acoustically and he can sing great, it's like, why are you using that live? Like, you just look shitty. As far as recordings though, I think it's something that's necessary in this day and age for final production. You know, regardless of how good a singer will do something in the studio, I think a little bit of touch-up at the end of the day is something that just exists in the digital
Live performance is totally different.
Yeah.
than recording. The
It's
live
two different
performance
things,
and stuff. Like there's a lot of artists you can see, like even Chris Cornell, a very, very talented vocalist. If he's like having an off day, it's just kind of more interesting to see him struggle, or when he's sick, and it's just like, oh yeah, even though he was sick, he fucking killed it.
Exactly, it's
So,
more respect for the
Yeah,
artist.
yes, it adds to the show a lot more.
So Paul, earlier you were talking about your drumming styles. Can you elaborate more on that and the types of music in your drumming?
Well, yeah, back in junior high, I took band class, and but I goofed off a lot in all my band classes. But I did learn a little bit in there. I learned, how to switch up timings and how to get better with working with metronomes. But since I goofed off so much, I think in high school I just straight up got kicked out of band class.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but it did help. I did learn a lot there when I actually was paying attention. And I also worked with a lot of rappers, and having a pretty musical family too, I got to hear a lot of different genres. And I watched tons of different drummers, and I've never actually had a drum lesson.
Wow.
So I've only gotten my influences from watching other drummers and trying stuff myself. So I think I have my own very, very unique kind of feel and sound to it, because I have so many genres and I haven't really had a lot of lessons, so I just kind of figured everything out for myself. And I think one day I will actually go and get some lessons.
Really?
Because you're never the best. There's always room for improvement. And just right now I don't have time for it, but if I ever actually have like the money and the free time, I definitely want to go and find one of the best drummers in whatever city I'm in and actually get some lessons too.
Cool.
So
That's
just
a
to
good
learn
plan.
that much more.
So what's the biggest message you guys want to put out to the world with your music?
I'd say with our experience, and it just sounds kind of cheesy, but people keep telling us every day, like, you guys are going to be back soon. Or, even when we're leaving, people would say, oh yeah, you'll be back within a month, like you'll see how it is, like no one can do what you guys are trying to do. And then once you do it, you see things start falling into place, where now me and Ryan are at a place where we're doing everything, like we've actually dreamt of being in this position we're in right now, where we have people booking all of our gigs, people asking us to like talk to us, and people telling us to record in their studio.
Yeah.
And it's all because we aren't listening to people. So the big thing I'd say is like, just don't let people tell you you can't do something. You just gotta do it, because those people just tell you it because they couldn't do it themselves. But
Yeah, I would like to come off as like role models, really, because there's too much. In almost anything in life, there's too much out there these days that's so negative about what you can and can't do, or what is and isn't possible in your own life. And like, truth is, if somebody hasn't been where you want to go and where you see yourself going, then they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Whatever advice they're giving you, 9 times out of 10, they don't know what they're talking about. That guy at an open mic night who's been doing it for 50 years and never gone anywhere does not know better than what you know for yourself and what the results you see in your life.
So where can we find out more about you guys online?
You can check us out at
holidaymonday.com
.com
or CA.
and also visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/holidaymondayBand.